What's going on YouTube? Today we are reacting to where are these banned NBA players? Now the only banned NBA player I really know is Tyreek. I was gonna say Tyreek Hill. Tyreke Evans. I think he got banned for I don't know. It's Tyreke Evans, OJ Mayo. I know OJ got banned for like weed and all that shit. Other than them two, I don't know.
From a player getting locked up in prison to another getting assassinated by the mob, these are the NBA players who got banned and where they are today. Starting with Tyreke Jameer Evans, who was known for his explosive...
Boy, Tyreke Evans back then too, he was a bucket. He was a bucket. I used to play with that nigga on 2K. He was a bucket, like.
Season, averaging 20.1 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 5.8 assists per game, joining the greats like Michael Jordan and LeBron James as the only rookies in NBA.
Why is Ronaldo Blackman in the middle of LeBron James and Michael Jordan as one of the greats? Why is Ronaldo Blackman just in the middle?
History to achieve a 25-5 stat line, a performance that earned him the 2010 NBA Rookie of the Year award. Between 2009 and 2019, Tyreke Evans was on a good run playing for teams like the Sacramento Kings and the Memphis Grizzlies, but that 10-year career quickly came crashing down.
Tyreke Evans has been dismissed and disqualified for at least 2 years.
On May 17, 2019, Tyreke was dismissed for violating the league's anti-drug program after he tested positive for a drug of abuse violation. This meant the league could not
Man, it's crazy because it's like, I know there's probably so many NBA players in the league that do it. Shit, the most famous one I know, KD. I think KD came out in an interview and said shit. He was high in an interview. But hoopers be the best when they high, bro.
Disclose what drug he tested positive for. It could be anything from amphetamines, cocaine, to opiates. The only bright side was that he could be reinstated after 2 years, and that's precisely what he did, returning to the NBA on February 14th, 2022. Unfortunately for Tyreke, his career was well and truly dead at this point. He just didn't know it yet. In the weeks up to his reinstatement, he posted multiple training videos on his Instagram page, the last of which was posted on February 6th, 2022, captioned, "I'm back in that mode, time up." Fans were beyond elated, and the comment section was filled with positive messages like, "Been waiting on this," and "Welcome back, Carter, stay dangerous." However, what followed was tragic. Tyreke signed with the Wisconsin Herd, the Milwaukee Bucks G League affiliate, on March 16th, 2022, but was waived just a week later after struggling with low scoring and poor shooting efficiency. He had a stat line of 8 points per game, 2.5 rebounds, and 2 assists. And with that poor showing, Tyreke Evans' time in the NBA...
Honestly, yeah, this isn't the best for, like, G League. But, like, hey, he's scoring. I mean, he wasn't just getting no points. How many minutes does he play, too? Was he a starter? I mean, hey, there's, you know what I'm saying? He could have done better, but...
And with that poor showing, Tyreke Evans' time in the NBA was over. He vanished, leaving fans all over the internet to wonder, what happened to Tyreke Evans?
Didn't he go to China?
It turns out he took his skills abroad, specifically to Venezuela, where he played for the Broncos de Caracas in the 2023 season. Tyreke saw an increased stat line of 13.7 points per game, 3.6 rebounds, and 2.3 assists, which was still a far cry from the 25-5 from his rookie season, but it was enough to help the team kick off the season with a bang. These days, there's no evidence that Tyreke still plays basketball professionally. His social media accounts have dried up, and the general public can't tell what he's been up to. Still, some fans remain positive about Tyreke's career as a whole, pointing out that he played 594 games and averaged 15.7 PPG. Also made over 75...
Now this... Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, he didn't turn out to be a superstar, but made almost over $75 million. Hey, that's a solid career. I ain't gonna say successful, Cause like successful, I ain't gonna lie, I'd put in like, what would be like a successful career? I mean, I don't know, but just I say a solid career.
While Tyreke Evans completely vanished from the spotlight, this next player made a comeback in a big way. Christopher Klaus Anderson, aka Birdman, was known for his high-flying dunks and vibrant personality, standing at 6'10" with a 7'2" wingspan. You ask any fan of his and they'll tell you three things. He was a shot blocker, rim runner, and crowd energizer. And of course, he was fun to watch. Anderson played 16 NBA seasons across 5 teams from 2001 to 17. But those seasons were not consecutive because in 2006, he did something that got the NBA quite upset. Anderson had just signed a 4-year, $14 million deal with the Hornets when he was dismissed and disqualified for 2 years from the NBA for testing positive for a drug of abuse. The league did not disclose any specifics, but signs pointed to what led Anderson down this dark path. He was going through serious personal issues with his mother and had just suffered a painful breakup with a longtime girlfriend and turned to illegal drugs to help him escape the funk. Anderson decided to focus on himself instead. He checked himself into rehab and spent the next 2 years training for his triumphant return. He was reinstated on March 4th, 2008 and re-signed with the Hornets the next day. Anderson proceeded to hit 6.4 points per game, 6.2 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks in the 2008 to 2009 season. And it seemed like he was back on track and ready to build his career. But there was one more roadblock in his way.
Chris Birdman Anderson excused from the team, his home searched this morning by investigators with the Internet Crimes Against Children Unit.
7 News learning whatever was taken from Anderson's home being analyzed at a computer forensics lab run by the FBI and local law enforcement. Based on the lab's own website, it helps examine digital evidence for a number of investigations, including child porn and internet crimes.
In 2012, Anderson fell victim to a complex catfishing scam. A Canadian woman named Shelley Chartier tricked NBA player Chris Anderson into a relationship with a 17-year-old teen model. She posed on Facebook as Anderson and then got Anderson to notice her through a different app. Subsequently, Chartier arranged a real-life meeting between the two, unbeknownst they were being set up by a third-party catfish. Anderson and Dunn did eventually meet in person, and the 33-year-old NBA player engaged in sexual contact with her, as she had given the impression that she was a legal adult. After that, Paris started getting threats, and the nude photos she sent Anderson ended up getting posted online. Chartier also posed as the model's mother and blackmailed Anderson for $3,000 because Dunn was 17. Chris Anderson ended up all over the news, and his actions had caused him to be investigated for child pornography. Not only did this harm his reputation, the Denver Nuggets promptly excused him from the team.
What's crazy is I never knew that. I mean, I was legit watching it, so I wasn't really paying attention to all that. I was just watching ball. So how did he get on the Heat? I know it's not his fault, because she ain't even tell that nigga the truth at all. But how did he get on the Heat?
Activities, effectively suspending him from the rest of the 2011 to 2012 season. He received no contract offers before the 2012-2013 season, and it wasn't until January when Anderson's attorney, Mark Bryant, told the Denver Post that the ongoing case had nothing to do with children that he finally got a chance to play. As for Shelley, her IP address was traced and the police found her home in Northern California. Chartier was charged in Canada for extortion, impersonation, and possessing and transmitting child pornography. She was sentenced to 18 months in jail. Anderson beat the allegations and went back to playing ball and worked hard at it until he retired from the NBA in 2017, after which he moved over to the Big 3 League, played for Power, and won a championship in 2018. However, he had suffered a career-altering ACL injury a couple years prior. Couple that with being 40 years old at the time, and it was enough to make Anderson step away from professional basketball entirely. These days, he's likely enjoying retirement, but it's hard to tell due to his scant online presence. Chris Andersen fought his mistakes and ultimately made a massive comeback,
man.
unlike this next player whose return
OJ!
fell completely flat. After a standout high school career, OJ Mayo kicked off a stellar 8-year career in the NBA in 2008, averaging a career-high 18.5 points per game, 3.8 rebounds, 3.2 assists in his rookie season. He also made the playoffs 3 times, twice with the Grizzlies and once with the Bucks. OJ Mayo was so good that he's still praised to this day.
OJ was so good for so many years.
Boy, that's why I'm saying,
Legend, bro.
like,
He
7th
won-
grade on, bro, he had that light on him, bro.
OJ was after LeBron.
He was a prodigy, bro.
Yeah, it was LeBron, then it was OJ.
OJ's career, however, was not without its controversies. On January 27th, 2011, the NBA suspended OJ for 10 games following a positive test for steroids. First, OJ blamed...
I didn't know it was steroids. I thought it was weed. I thought it was weed. You know what's crazy, bro? My heart hurt not too long ago because I seen Odell got suspended for 6 games for pads. That hurt my heart.
Blamed an over-the-counter supplement he didn't know was banned by the NBA, then he blamed an unnamed energy drink he bought at a gas station for the positive test.
What?
Nobody bought the excuses, and he served his time off the court. OJ came back with a bang on July 13th, 2013, signing a
Mavericks.
3-year, $24 million contract with the Milwaukee Bucks. But that only lasted 3 seasons. By 2016, his career came crashing down because he has been...
OJ Mayo has really fallen from grace since being pegged as the next LeBron James. The NBA announced Friday Mayo has been, quote, dismissed and disqualified from the league for violating its anti-drug policy.
The ban wasn't permanent, and OJ could apply for reinstatement after 2 years. So he took that time off to travel the world, focus on his sobriety, and get his head back in the game. OJ was ready for his comeback, but it didn't matter at all. Despite getting reinstated in 2018, nobody wanted him. And with no NBA teams willing to sign him, his NBA career was effectively over. Poor choices had ruined the career of the player people were calling the next LeBron James.
They gotta stop throwing that around. I'm glad they don't do that shit no more. Like to throw that LeBron shit around. Now they like to throw that generational talent around. Cause they did that shit with who they all do that shit? They did that shit with Zion. Zion was a generational talent though. I ain't gonna lie. Still is. When he's healthy, that nigga, I ain't gonna lie. If Zion stay healthy, bro, I could see that nigga winning the MVP, bro. Who else? Cade is, I ain't gonna say Cade is generational, but Cade tough. I ain't gonna lie, Cade tough. Wemby generational. I ain't gonna lie, there ain't nobody in the league that's 7'5" and able to move like a guard. So yeah, that nigga, I'll give the generational fucking shit to him.
Mayo up to these days? Well, Mayo has continued his basketball career overseas. First, he signed a contract with Puerto Rican team Atléticos de San Germán and played in the BSN League during the 2017-18 season. Mayo averaged 13.4 points, 3.9 rebounds, and 3.5 assists. Not as good as his career high at the time, but still better than the 7.22 stat line he averaged with the Milwaukee Bucks during the 2015-2016 season. However, Mayo was still released by the Puerto Rican team. From there, he moved to Taiwan and played for the Daisen Tigers, where he achieved a new career high of 22.7 PPG, 7.3 rebounds, and 4.3 assists. By the time the 2019-2020 season rolled around, Mayo was playing for China's Liaoning Flying Leopards. There he achieved a new career high, averaging 28.4 PPG, 7.1 rebounds, and 4.3 assists. Despite that, Mayo continued moving, and by 2021, he signed a 1-year contract with Russia's UNICS Kazan. By the time his contract ended, Mayo went over to another continent, reportedly joining Zamalek SC of the Egyptian Basketball Super League. And now he's currently back in China, serving as an assistant coach to the Liaoning Flying Leopards. words. Suffice it to say, Mayo's chances of an NBA return appear slim, just like this next player who has no hopes of returning whatsoever. Jontay Porter was made for the...
Why did you just show me a clip of Michael Porter Jr. and then make me think that Michael Porter Jr. was going to be on here? I was just saying, Michael Porter Jr. is still in the league.
Hoop. His dad, Michael Sr., his mom, Lisa, and his older brother, Michael Porter Jr. were all pro ballers. By 2020, Porter had signed with the Memphis Grizzlies. 3 years later, he was in a two-way contract with the Toronto Raptors, earning approximately $410,000, an amount that was seemingly not enough for Jontay because pretty soon he found himself in some trouble. In March 2024, Jontay was caught in a point-shaving scheme, which was discovered by a sports book that noticed irregular betting on 2 Raptors games. It was suspicious how, in both games, Porter exiled after playing only a few minutes.
NBA has issued a lifetime ban to the Toronto Raptors' Jontay Porter for violating the league's gambling rules.
According to the NBA, Porter disclosed confidential information about his own health status to an individual he knew to be an NBA bettor. Another individual with whom Porter associated and knew to be an NBA bettor subsequently placed an $80,000 parlay proposition bet with an online sportsbook to win $1.1 million, wagering that Porter would underperform due to...
That nigga did that shit on purpose, boy. What the fuck? That nigga knew he wasn't gonna play good, so he said, shit, let me make some money out of that motherfucker. Damn. I mean, why wouldn't he be happy with that? I know you get paid a lot more in the NBA if you're solid, but like $400,000, that's still I ain't gonna lie, that's still a lot. That is a lot. Making $400,000 on a contract for like I don't know how many years he was on, but how many every years it was. Probably said it, wasn't paying attention, or I forgot. But yeah, that would have been cool. Shit, I know that ain't big money like how most of them niggas get, but like that's something. Some niggas don't make nothing.
To the unusual betting activity and actions of the player, the $80,000 proposition bet was frozen and was not paid out. Porter placed at least 13 bets on NBA games using an associate's online betting account. These bets ranged in size from $15,000 to $22,000 for a total of $54,000. The total payout from these bets was $76,000, resulting in net winnings of $21,000. Fans were understandably disappointed with...
You did all that for only $21,000? Nigga, your contract was $400,000, bro. Are you dumb? My fault. My fault. I ain't got no hate in my heart, but like, you ruined your dream to play in the league, or maybe it wasn't his dream. I don't know, but even if you ruined your chances to really like get a name for yourself in the league for only $21,000, you could have probably made more if you really put your like real effort into like working up on the roster, but no. All that just for $21,000.
One saying, an entire pro ball career thrown away for $21,000. But it wasn't over yet. Jontay wasn't just getting a ban, he was in legal trouble too. Prosecutors gathered ample evidence against Jontay, like this text conversation with one of the conspirators.
I went back to the locker room to get eye checked on. I don't know if I'm gonna play much more. I'm not starting second half, but if it's garbage time, I will shoot 1,000,000 shots.
They plotted to manipulate the game. I went to get my eye checked on. I don't know if I'm gonna play much more. Not starting the second half, but if it's garbage time, I will shoot 1,000,000 shots. Jontay Porter has pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud in a case tied to a betting scandal from earlier this year and could face a little over 4 years in prison. Porter could owe approximately $456,000 in fines and restitution. He was released on a $250,000 bond and has to continue counseling for gambling. Porter actually tried to get back into playing basketball, his lawyer asked that Porter's passport be returned to him, and that he should be allowed to travel to Greece to play professional basketball for Prometheus Patras BC. His request was denied. These days, Porter keeps a low profile while waiting to be sentenced. However, Jontay Porter wasn't the first player to get expelled for gambling. That dishonor falls on Jack Molinas as well. Jack didn't have a very long NBA career. He played for the Fort Wayne Pistons during the 1953-54 season. Legendary coach and analyst Hubie Brown called him one of the best players ever. There was just one problem. Molinas had a gambling addiction. He just loved the thrill of a rigged game. The man himself once said, "I don't care about the money. I never did. Gambling was action. Winning was glory. Money was just a way of keeping score."
Oh yeah, that's some addiction shit. This nigga said, "I don't even care about the money." Nigga, when you gamble, it's for the money. What are you talking about? When you win, you get money. You don't even care about the fucking money. So you just do this shit for the love of the addiction. I ain't gonna say the love of the game, nigga, cause this ain't no game to him. This is an addiction.
But that wasn't all. He was reportedly making about $50,000 a week from his gambling and fixing games, which was about 5 times his yearly salary. That didn't fly with the NBA, and by January 1954, Molinas' time was up. His NBA suspension was for gambling on games his team won, but it was known reliably that he also bet against his own team.
In college?
With that, Jack took his gambling underground.
Wait. From here. Okay, nah. I'm just sitting here thinking he was betting in college. 22 colleges included. Oh, maybe he did. Maybe he did. The way they making it seem like this nigga was just like that nigga too. I gotta look him up. I gotta see them stats.
Also bet against his own team. With that, Jack took his gambling underground. Jack became the leader of a gambling ring privately called Fixers Inc., which had strong ties to the mafia chiefs of the Genovese crime family. Between the years of 1957 to 1961, Jack rigged at least one boxing match by drugging a fighter, and multiple horse races by shocking horses with a remote electronic buzzer. Over the same time frame, the group rigged the results of at least 67 College-8 basketball games, and implicated 49 players from 25 different colleges and 18 different states. Jack preyed on talented kids from poor backgrounds and won their favor by offering them money to help them in their first college semesters, before eventually promising more stability in exchange for rigging games. He was eventually caught in 1961 and sentenced to 10 years in prison. After getting out on parole, Jack continued his life of crime, mostly benefiting from the suffering of others. But all that came to an end in 1975. He was standing on his patio when he was shot in the neck with a .22 caliber pistol by a gunman standing in a neighbor's yard, bringing an end to the life of the first man banned from the NBA for gambling. Jack's actions didn't just get him banned, his shady deals ruined the careers of multiple players, including this next one. Cornelius Lance Hawkins, aka The Hawk, was known for his unique high-flying playstyle. But behind all that talent was a darker story involving gambling, all because he accepted $200 from the wrong person. In 1961, Hawkins was in his freshman year at the University of Iowa when he crossed paths with Jake Molinas. Hawkins admitted to borrowing $200 from Molinas for basic expenses, which was likely true, because at the time, this was how Molinas lured young students into gambling for him.
How much is $200 back then? I know $200 back then gotta be a lot. Cause I ain't gonna lie, $200 now. Shit, that's still a lot. I ain't gonna lie. It's still something. It ain't nothing. It's still something.
However, Hawkins was a freshman at the time and was thus ineligible to play varsity basketball, meaning Hawkins could not have even influenced a game even if Molinas wanted him to. But that didn't matter, cause the biggest point-shaving scandal at the time was about to be exposed, and it was going to end a lot of careers. During the 1960-61 NCAA University Division's men's basketball season, a major gambling scandal involving a former NBA All-Star basketball player and many members of organized crime syndicates broke through, which had ultimately been years in the making. The scandal involved 37 arrests of students from 22 different colleges, as well as at least 9 players that received money from fixers or gamblers that were never convicted of crimes. Close to 50 people who had associated ties with the scandal were reported to have been permanently banned from the NBA as a result of this case, including Connie Hawkins. His major financial connection to Molinas was enough to implicate him. Though he was never charged or arrested, his career and his education had taken a bullet to the knee. Hawkins was expelled from Iowa. He went undrafted by the NBA, a blackballing that no one had to make explicit that the league sanctioned.
That's stupid. I ain't gonna lie. The fact that he didn't even intentionally do that shit on purpose, bro. That's stupid.
So Connie took his skills elsewhere.
Already a local legend, the rest of the world caught its first.
Make your name for yourself, Hawkins.
When he joined the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah.
He was a kid from Bed-Stuy, never been anywhere around the world.
What is this?
He went to the Great Wall in China.
What is this?
To Jerusalem and Nazareth. Things that you read about in the history books.
Hawkins also spent his prime playing for lesser-known leagues like the ABL and the ABA, but things could always get worse, and by 1966, the NBA formally banned him from the league. Hawkins decided to fight back. During his time traveling with the Globetrotters, he filed a $6 million lawsuit against the NBA, claiming the league had unfairly banned him from participation and that there was no substantial evidence linking him to gambling activities. Seeking to avoid a defeat in court, the NBA elected to settle after the 1968-69 season and admitted Hawkins to the league. The league paid.
I know they were. I know they were pissed. Hey, 11 million in today's currency. That's some good shit,
Hawkins a cash settlement of nearly $1.3 million in 1969, and he was assigned to the Phoenix Suns. He returned to playing that same year, but the 8-year hiatus had cost him his prime years, entering the NBA at 27 years old with knee issues. However, that didn't stop him from dominating, reaching a peak stat line of 24.6 points per game, 10.4 rebounds per game, 4.8 assists per game in the 1969-70 season. Hall of Fame NBA coach Larry Brown witnessed Hawkins' greatness firsthand and called him the greatest individual player I have ever seen. Hawkins would finish his career as a 4-time NBA All-Star, and by 1992, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Basketball has taken me virtually every...
Now, is he a Hall of Famer to me? I don't know. Nigga was a 4-time All-Star. I don't really scream Hall of Fame. I ain't gonna lie, he ain't get no All-NBAs, no nothing. Respectfully. That don't really seem like a Hall of Fame career. He ain't get no All-NBA teams, no All-Defensive teams. Well, All-Defensive teams weren't back then. I don't think they were present back then. I don't know. I can't remember. But that really ain't no Hall of Fame career, dog.
Everywhere in the world.
Respectfully.
A poet once said that I am part of all that I meet. Just think of what that means to a kid from Bed-Stuy. Thank you.
Post-retirement, he returned to the Suns as a community relations representative, renovating 30 basketball courts, conducting clinics, and speaking at community centers. He was highly regarded and loved by those around him, even after his death on October 6, 2017. At the age of 75, Connie Hawkins left behind a shining legacy of thriving through adversity. However, the same cannot be said about the next player. Roy James Tarpley Jr. was 6'11", power forward known for his exceptional talent and never letting a rebound get past him. His NBA career spanned from 1986 to 1995, during which he won several awards, including the NBA Sixth Man of the Year award in 1988. But his career was marked with multiple strikes and violations against some of the league's strictest rules. In the summer of 1987, Tarpley entered the NBA's Substance Abuse Program, or ASAP, after citing a cocaine and alcohol.
They gave him 1 strike? I mean, they were doing that shit a lot in the 90s and 80s. Not the 90s. I don't think the 90s. I think the 80s really they were. I think in the 90s they were just drinking a lot. But, the fact that they gave that nigga a 1 strike for cocaine and alcohol. Can't you die from, like, literally mixing the two? Suspended indefinitely and missed. Well, positive to... God damn, boy, you just couldn't put that snow down, could you?
Alcohol dependency. Unfortunately, that wasn't enough because strike 2 came in January 1989. He was suspended indefinitely and missed 49 games while undergoing rehab after testing positive for cocaine. Roy was cleared to play after treatment, rejoining the Mavericks in April 1989. However, 6 games into the 1989-90 season, he was arrested for driving while intoxicated and resisting arrest. This violated ASAP's no alcohol during aftercare conditions, resulting in an indefinite suspension, putting his NBA career in jeopardy. Even while he was suspended, Roy simply couldn't stay out of trouble. In March 1991, he was arrested once again for driving under the influence. He was clocked going 63 miles per hour in a 35 zone while drinking beer. He admitted to his actions and was suspended indefinitely after the arrest for drunk driving. Just 2 months later, Tarpley was charged with assault for domestic violence after allegedly assaulting his girlfriend. He could face up to 1 year in jail and a $2,000 fine. The charges were eventually dropped when the alleged victim refused to cooperate with prosecutors. And 3 years later, Roy was reinstated, and he returned to the Mavericks on a 6-year, $26 million contract. But once again, that didn't last very long. He received a final lifetime ban in December 1995 after testing positive for alcohol 3 times, once again.
Nigga, you just couldn't put it down, bro. $26 million, bro. $26 million and you couldn't put the alcohol down, my nigga. You getting that much money, bro. Just put it down. 26 mil, bro. 26 million back then. How much was $26 million back then? I don't know how much it was back then in the 90s. But nigga, that shit gotta be like at least like 45, 50, I don't know, around that area. You just couldn't put it down.
Again, violating his aftercare conditions. He denied the accusation by blaming the test results on a liquid cold medication that contains alcohol. Roy's arguments failed, and his career never recovered, and eventually he passed away on January 9th, 2015 at the age of 50.
Rest in peace. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, rest in peace. But damn, bro, you just couldn't put that shit down, could you? You just couldn't put the snow down, couldn't put the liquor down. God damn. Rest in peace, though. Rest in peace to all the people that got banned and that did pass. But hope y'all enjoy, man. We out, bro.